Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Hibiscus, a lush and invigorating tea. Bright, tart, and a touch sweet, this passion-inspired blend is crafted with hibiscus, lemongrass, rose petals, cranberry, spearmint, orange, and lemon peel. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hey, how's it going, man? It's Ross Boss.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Why don't we go ahead and get on into it? Why don't you tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'm from a little bit everywhere, a little Gaston, a little Forest Grove. It's kind of out in the city a little bit too.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as music goes, man, I first started out it was just I just started kind of really getting into it because I didn't really have much else to kind of help me along the way. And the first person that ever got me started was my brother John, and I was probably about
shout out John.
12 years old, and just kind of started hitting bars with him. And like I said, I remember when I was a kid, just 13 years old, I was so upset that I couldn't have the vocabulary that I needed, and so I started just pulling words out the dictionary and writing columns and then that kind of stuff, and from there I just kind of fell in love with that, man. You know what I mean? I did. It just really spoke to my heart in a lot of different ways, and it just helped me get so much of what was going on in my life out. Something about screaming on a beat or just taking like a pad or a pen to a pad. It was just, I don't know, it was just kind of felt like it seemed like a good calling for me, and so I didn't get lost in all the craziness that life will put you through at times,
Yeah, no, I totally feel that. And just to stick in the vein of foundation questions for just a moment, what was some of the earliest music that was an inspiration for you, or you remember hearing?
Oh man, I remember Eminem. I remember first seeing him on doing the 8 Mile stuff and the D12 stuff and that kind of stuff. And just that first kind of what started myself into rap, because before I didn't even listen to rap or nothing, right? And it just kind of, started tuning in a little bit more and more as the years went. But
it's wild how often his name comes up as the person kind of really catalysted, really got people into the concept of it, really set the foundation, because he was so, revolutionary feels like an odd word to use for him, but he really broke a lot of boundaries.
No, he did. Just his kind of music, it was so different and so wild and so crazy, right? But also so many songs that were so meaningful and so powerful, and so they told a story, and so he was still rap, but he was also a different kind of that, he just inspired a completely different generation to do what they were doing, and
he somehow performed with words and appearances, the main songs that made him big were always these wild, crazy ones, and then you go and listen to his album and there'd be all these deep and emotional ones.
And you're what, bro? You turn it on, you're like, what's happening right now? I really respect him that. And then as time went on, Yellow Wolf and Hobson started getting into them, Tech Nine. I loved all those guys, man. And I just kind of started almost programming myself around those kinds of styles, and
hell yeah.
But that's 100%. I think that the Eminem, probably my first rap inspiration for sure.
I dig that. And then we've got a couple more foundation questions. And this first one, it's one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Oh, the first album. Gosh, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. I think that it probably was Eminem 8 Mile.
Okay.
Yeah, that probably was the first one that I ever actually bought. because I remember that was back in CD players, and that's all you'd slap. I had one CD in the car. It was 8 Mile Eminem, man. We slapped that all day long. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, that's definitely a solid first choice.
It is. Yeah, that's funny, man. I haven't thought about that in forever, man. My goodness, that's a good question, bro.
Oh, yeah. And then what was the first live show you ever went to that was like specifically one you wanted to go to? So you saw the show was happening, you got the tickets, you went to it.
Oh man, I'd say Tech Nine.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was my first, like, because I went to concerts and I went to, like, the Blues Festival and, the Dude Tour and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? But yeah, my first one I bought was Tech Nine. Yeah, and he did not disappoint neither. Man.
Do you know what album was prominent at the time?
For Tech? No, honestly, I don't. I know that when that had been about 6 years ago. It was just right. Actually, it was right before he released the Like I Ain't album with Like I Ain't on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was right before that because I remember we were just, they gave us like coupons to get his CD or whatever.
Oh, hell yeah.
CD that was coming out. It was going to be like out in 2 weeks or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I mean, anytime's a good time with Tech, you know what I mean? It's like, but he's got such a catalog of music. Anytime someone says that's the answer, I'm always curious, like, what era of Tech that it was.
Yeah, I mean, and I listen to all the Tech, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a Player days, and then it got in Caribou, and then it came up, he's everywhere. That guy's been with almost every major rapper, even Tupac.
Yeah. I can still do the entirety of This Ring. Like from cover to cover, I know the whole song. Yeah, that was one of the first ones that I ever I wrote it down to learn it. I think I had like a second gen iPod, and I had the lyrics on the iPod and would just look at it as he was going because it was just so crazy to me what he was doing in the beginning.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I think I even had his CD. I think I was Walkman in Tech. Oh man, I remember those. Every step, skip, right?
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah.
And then before we move into more of you in the current day, do you have a defining moment? Because you kind of leaned into it pretty heavy from the start. But what was the defining moment where you decided to take music more seriously?
Well, honestly, it's kind of a funny story almost in a way. But I didn't actually show anybody any of my freestyles for a long time. People knew I was working on it, and then they would hear me in my room and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I started getting into it, and what happened is I was actually at a party, so I got my name. I was at a party, and I was just kind of freestyling for just a couple people, right? And then the party kind of stopped. More people came, and next thing you know, there was like 200 people gathered around me, and then at the end of it, people just started chanting, Roz Boss, right? And then kind of at that moment, I realized that I could kind of touch it with people, right? And I started working a little harder. But I was kind of in and out of really showing people anything. And then I just kind of spent this past 17 years just working my ass off and doing all this research and getting myself programmed in for this very stuff that's happening now, man, getting these things out and making work happen.
Oh yeah. Well, that's awesome. And coincidentally, you answered the next question in perfect sequence, which is, how did you get your name? So unless there's more to that story, we'll go.
Nope, that's basically it. I had a few nicknames over the days, but that was the one that stuck.
That was the one that stuck. Hell yeah.
And then that was at 15?
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I'll be honest, it's a good one. I always do this little bit where I break down people's names. And I mean, the fact that it basically mirrors itself, the R being only a stone's throw away from the B in shape, you're going to get really cool, you could do water ripple effect to make it look like the reflection.
Oh, yeah.
The back to back, spell out. Aesthetically, it's a really cool name. So you can do a lot with it.
Yeah, it sounds great on tracks too. Man.
Yeah. It's just easy to call out. It's not hard to remember. You know what I mean?
One of those really hard to chop names.
Yeah, it's it's spelled with 3 T's and a Q, and they're all silent.
Little PTTQQ, man.
Yeah, exactly. But let's go ahead and let's dive into your writing process. And we're going to kind of break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So when you get inspired, you're ready to make some music. What are some of the things you do to get a track started?
So, first thing track is, honestly, I'm really good at sinking into the beat. So I'll actually, before I even really know what the song's going to be, I'll pick the beat first, right? And then after I start writing, I'll kind of tune into whatever emotion is present because to me, emotion's a huge part of what I put into. And so, yeah, once I got the beat synced into my brain, I tune that emotion, and then I just pick a topic and I let my brain kind of dance on the paper, right? And because it's just weird how it's able to kind of pull different life situations together, and make these things happen. And I'm a really big storyteller. So I like to tell stories too. It's not just like, I was at the liquor store, did this, I did that. It was like, things usually have like a pretty intense meaning to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's usually me. Is like, and my ultimate goal is to just kind of make people feel something with everything that I write. And so I try to pick, hard, heavy talk, life things. People leaving you, people staying with you. The will to get up, passion, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as picking the beat goes, do you have like a person that you get beats from? Do you get them on the internet? Do you make them yourself? Like, how do you do that?
That goes all over the place. I have a few producers that I get from. I also sometimes find them on the internet, purchase them that way as well, too. But yeah, so there's kind of multiple outlets on that one. And I'm always looking for things, too. Like, I'm not opposed to working with jazz players, to working with guitar players. I would love for my music to be, as versatile as it possibly can be. But as far right now, I got a couple people that I'm, Dead Tech, Token, those guys right now, and a few others that my friends know as well. So,
and then when you get a track finished writing, how long does it usually take you to feel comfortable to be able to like recreate it or perform it?
Oh, usually almost immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. It depends on what the style is. If it's gonna be more of a singy song, something like that, I'll usually sit with it for like maybe an hour or two. But after that, I'm usually pretty ready to go. And so that's kind of what's nice about what kind of taught me with the freestyle and the singing part of everything, right, or the writing part of it. Putting those two things together.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like when I write something, my brain's already used to sinking into the beat, and so it's cool to have those two things work with each other, man.
Yeah. Now, I noticed that you mentioned like writing as well as freestyling. Like, do you lean more towards one to the other? Do you like start in one and end the other? How do you go about that?
For the longest time, my entire album that we had, well, not the entire, almost everything on the album is called No Ink because so many of them were just actually one-liner freestyles. So
hell yeah.
They turned out to be these insane things, But then I started leaning into more writing too, and so it's hard to see, to be which one I'd lean towards more now. But if you asked me that question a year ago, then it would be 100% freestyle, right?
Okay.
And that would be, just because I know that I can put so much more heart and soul into it, But now I've gotten to the point where I've kind of geared those two things together.
Gotcha.
So I'm excited to see what kind of beauty that's going to make down the road.
Yeah. Actually, again, you're really nailing the concept of the flow of this interview, because my next question is, how has your process changed in the last year? And that sounds like that's a pretty big change.
Yeah, it's huge. It was funny. I got into the studio and, Dead Tech, he goes, so all those guys, where's your material at? I don't need none.
Yeah.
Homie Endo goes, no, homeboy just raps. Like, he just played a beat for you. He's just going to rap. We're like, what, man? I'm like, oh, shit. Like,
Yeah. Well, hey, if anybody would know, it would definitely be him.
Yeah. Oh, man, mad love to that guy.
Hell yeah.
Bro, mad love. Nothing but respect for that dude.
Hell yeah. And it's cool that y'all are going to be working together and stuff.
Oh, yeah. He helped me with almost every single thing on my album. He did all the choruses for me. Homeboy really, he gave me the match that needed to light all the gasoline I had stored underneath me, right? I was firing in my ass ever since, so, and so that fool out.
Good people for sure. Really passionate. If y'all haven't checked out his interview yet, we're going to shamelessly plug it now. It's definitely a good interview.
Yeah, I just an amazing dude.
Yeah.
Honored, blessed to know that guy.
Very much so. And now I am a little curious to know, because, you've been doing this for a while. You've got, obviously you've got years on it. But you don't have anything out yet. You don't have much available. What was the decision to start working on the album now?
So the decision is that for the longest time I've been told, hey man, you got to get your stuff in. You got to get your stuff in. You got to get, I love your music. He's like, but I can't play it on YouTube and I can't play it on Spotify, right? And Slim was the one that actually, we sat there and he's like, bro, just make some songs. He's like, you already, like, the freestyle part's easy of it. All you gotta do is just stop saying so many things and cut it down a little bit, right? And put it on a track, right? That's all you gotta do. And I'm like, all right, man, cool. And so me and him went to the studio, the first taste of the studio, and that was it. I was hooked, man.
Damn.
And so I've made, on Tuesday, I've made 13 recorded songs, mixed and mastered in 38 or 39 days, something like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, now we're going to have to make this episode come out Tuesday.
Yeah.
So as of today, when you're watching this, y'all, and that's cool. So then was that your first time ever like being in a studio?
Yeah, first time ever being in the studio. And the first 2 songs we made, Relentless and Walking Alone. And all these teasers are out on my YouTube channel and everything else. But Walking Alone, I mean, was one of the best songs I've ever been a part of. That was the first song. It was all freestyle, first song I ever made, you know.
Damn.
And Slim's telling me, he's like, this not normal, man. People's first songs are usually awful.
I mean, I assume people don't have, double-digit years of practice and do it before they get in this studio.
And that's
the
just,
first time.
That was what was so cool because, in your mind, you're like, man, you think you're okay, but then, watching the effects, because I didn't have effects on my voice for so long, right? And so I created the voice effects to make it sync with the beat, right? And doing the same thing on a microphone is just like, it just ups the the thing they can do. Because Dad would tell me all the time, he's like, bro, I don't even have to really mess with your voice. He's like, I put like 2 things on it.
Yeah. No, I mean that, and it's funny. It's not something I like really touch on often, but earlier on in my experience with music, I used to do a lot of like recording and engineering. And I remember the first time I did a recording for somebody who was rapping who like, they understood that. Yeah. And so this guy came in, I was recording someone else, and this guy's like, he's like, yo, my cousin's going to come in and lay down a verse.
Let's destroy this whole thing.
I bet. The guy comes in, and I'm talking within minutes, had not only laid down his main one, he was like, hey, run that back. Okay, I thought I messed that up. Run it again. Laid it down. I think it took him 2 takes to get the main take down. And then he was like, all right, I'm going to do my ad-libs real quick. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, do you want to chop that? He's like, nope. And he just, first layer ad-libs, he's like, all right, cool, I'm going to do one more. And I was like, okay, do you want me to mute? He's like, no, leave that there. And he proceeded to do that, like, brought out a completely different voice. Just out of nowhere, like he had sounded a certain way.
He just brought out the...
Yeah, and just like, he had this different characteristic, but like, it was dialed. Like, he knew what his voice did and what it needed past that point to have this like complete sound. And it was the first time I'd ever like sat with somebody who like understood what was going into the mic, not just what they were doing.
Exactly, man. I mean, that's what's awesome about seeing these masters of craft. And I've been honest, I've been really blessed to walk in the door, you know what I mean? And like have homeboy that knows so much about music and do all this, and then just meet these amazing people like Santavo.
Oh yeah, shout out Santavo.
Amazing musician. Little Mighty, you know what I mean? All kinds of awesome people. HP, all those guys. Third Eye Goonies, bro. All those guys are fucking savage.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, to be in the, even though I've been a part of music for so long, I haven't really actually been a part of music.
Yeah, you've just been doing it as yourself.
And so to walk in with all these, people that have been doing it forever and be like, bro, that's just fucking good, right? And it just the inspiration level keeps going. And like I said, it's just a blessing to be able to know, everybody I know just so early off. And so I'm so excited as time goes to see who else I want to meet along the way.
No, totally.
Because I've already met so many good people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm stoked about that, man.
Oh yeah. And then I guess I'm curious to know, because usually this is around the point in time where I would ask, like based off all the songs that you have and that are out, things like that, what is your favorite song to perform? But have you had any performance?
I would say, I have with Walking Alone.
Okay.
I'd say that Walking Alone is good, but honestly, my favorite thing to perform is at the end of each show, what I do is I put a freestyle beat on. No words, nothing on it, right? And I just chop the beat, right?
Okay.
And I say that's probably my favorite part of it. So
hell yeah.
Because I just, something about the energy in the room, the more energy that's there, the more my brain gets this kind of weird like activation thing that happens. And it's just like I can access so much more knowledge and I just destroy these beats, man. I mean, I've had whole shows where I just freestyle for 45 minutes and people grabbing and cheering and screaming, and so there's been a lot of defining factors in there that's kind of made me want to go to the studio, but I never had that initial push. And so that's why I'm excited for it. But yeah, I'd say definitely, man, that the freestyle part of it is my favorite part.
Oh yeah. Well, that definitely sounds like y'all have to go see it to see it happen. Yeah, I think you can't just get a taste of it. That's really cool. That's a really unique answer. I haven't really gotten that one before, so I really appreciate that.
100%, man, 100%.
Now, for this next one, we're going to zoom out just a little bit. And this is a question I've been asking more recently. But looking at current music that's happening right now, so as current as you know it, what are some of the elements of new music and like music that's happening right now that you enjoy?
Oh man, so music's happening right now. I'd say I don't know. There's a lot of different kind of like hip hoppy pop songs. I'm starting to like it. I'm starting to kind of dig into a little bit more of the auto-tuning style too stuff there as well. But really, I mean, there's just so many good ones. I like the Doja Cat style too stuff that's going on, right? And I like that it's starting to get a little bit more hoppy, a little bit more boppy.
Yeah.
For a while there, I feel like it kind of went down a little bit of a depressing kind of just stretch there where everything was getting pretty sad. And I feel like we're starting to get back into the happy realm again, man. But yeah, I think that the fact that it's getting that like kind of almost like dubsteppy, boppy, hip hoppy vibe to it, man.
Okay. Hell yeah. No, I dig that for sure.
Yeah.
And then to wrap up this middle portion, this is probably the densest question in the interview, but we've talked a lot about the actions, the reactions, your experiences with music, the outward things. But when it's just you and music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
Freedom. Absolute freedom. I have so many things going on in my life every day that when I take the moment to write, when I take the moment to freestyle, whatever, it's just like none of that's there anymore, right? You know what I mean? And so it just gives me that freedom, that release of just not worrying for even if it's for 5 minutes, even if I'm writing a song for 10 minutes, right? It's just like my brain goes blank and I get to just relax for just 10 minutes and just be in my complete peace zen mode. And I wholeheartedly believe, I don't know, even know if I'd be here if it wasn't for music, man. It saved me in so many ways. So yeah, I'd say freedom.
Hell yeah. That's a really powerful answer. Thank you for sharing that. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
You got it. I'm going to take this tea. Hold on. This tea is good.
Thank you. Yeah. Shout out to the Brothers Apothecary.
Hey, you guys killing it, man.
Now, for these, sky's the limits. They're all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well.
Favorite.
But this first one's very straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive.
Oh, okay.
Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Oh, Yellow Wolf.
Okay.
I would definitely say Yellow Wolf, and man, how would I want to work? I would definitely want them. I would probably want them on the chorus.
Okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense,
on the verse, man, I think.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that'd be cool. Just because I feel like our styles are kind of similar. I've had people tell me all the time I sound like Yellow Wolf a lot. So it would be cool to see two people in a similar style, right?
Yeah, see how how he approaches it versus how you approach it.
Yeah, because every big musician like that has their own format, their own formula, and man, I try to learn from everybody, every single person, and just being able to see that formula for a second, the way my brain is. I mean, it would just take it and just turn it into a bunch of little amazing pieces and just make this amazing puzzle.
Hell yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he just put out a new album?
I think he did.
Yeah.
I've not actually had the chance to listen to anything.
Oh, damn, I was gonna ask you. I've only gotten like one pass through on it, so I was curious to know. But definitely go check it out and let me know what you think.
Dude, 100%, yeah.
And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
Oh, local artist. Oh, man. Honestly, not quite certain on that, my friend.
It sounds like you've already listed a handful of names in the area.
Yeah.
They all seem like artists you would be working with.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
I would say Santavo, but I've had a chance to work with him. Dylan, I worked with him a little bit too. I'd say I haven't met all the Third Eye Goonies yet. And
okay.
I had a chance to work with each one of them fools. I'll 100% jump in on that. Like
Hell yeah.
Those guys are all amazing and just awesome lyricists.
Well, y'all know what to do. At them in the comments. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue. It can be anywhere. Where would you want to perform?
Oh, Gorge Amphitheater, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. View, the lights, the stage, the crowd. 100%. That'd be the dream right there, man.
Yeah. I appreciate how often that's the answer over like the Moda Center.
I don't want the Moda Center, man. Don't get me wrong, I would, you know what I mean? But like as far as aesthetically and just how cool that experience would be, especially in like summertime where it's all nice and warm,
Yeah, I have a soft spot for outdoor venues personally. Like it just hits different.
The energy's different, and the acoustics out there are amazing.
Yeah.
I've been to a few shows out there, and it's been a good time each time.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, have that sound system, that speaker system on that'd be awesome.
And then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday. Who would you want an album from?
Ooh, Hobson.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. What is he doing now?
He's been making some music with NF. That was a little while ago.
Okay.
Have you heard his new song Lost?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, that's NF.
definitely have to
They
check it out.
kill that. They kill that. But yeah, I've loved his music. It's just I love pure lyricism power.
Mhm.
And his word content and his wordplay is just savage, right?
Yeah.
So 100%. I wish I could see another album from that guy, man.
That is a really good answer. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I miss that dude's music, man. Hopefully he's just in the kitchen cooking up something good. Bro.
I'm sure he is. Like, I don't think he could ever leave it completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know you had that whole album about like getting messed over or someone fucked him over on the some album concert, his manager or whatever. I remember.
I couldn't tell you. It's been a little while since I've
he had like 5 songs about it.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, I mean, he's just that fool's a savage. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start wrapping this up. I know you've already kind of touched on it, but what can we look forward to between now and September?
Ooh, now in September? Oh, I should definitely. So I know No Wink for sure will be released. And that's, like I said, I'd say probably about 90% of those songs are all just 100% pure freestyle. Teasers for those out right now. And then also Havoc, which should probably be done by then too. I don't sleep sometimes, man, when it comes to like a project being made and this and everything else. I mean, like music's everything to me, man. So I'm gonna, like, when it comes to Havoc, I already have 4 songs written for the next album. I already have the 3 songs for the EP that I'm on written, and then I have the other 3 songs written that were just left on the album to be done, and we're out.
Boom. Hey, you got plenty of stuff to put out this year then.
Yeah, it's only been 40 days, man.
Yeah.
And so, like, but like I said, I'm just so used to the craft putting them together. So yeah, I think Havoc, and then also a bunch of singles, bunch of features.
Damn, you should go home and write a song tonight called 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Yeah, that'd be, wouldn't take me long.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you wait till tomorrow, it'd be 41 days.
Yeah. And that's actually funny, man. But no, we're doing everything. Just we're not touching on one style. We're even gonna have a jazz song in there. We got San Andreas is literally like a beat sounding like it's from the GTA video game.
I love that.
And so we got something like that. Even doing a country boom bap kind of style.
Okay.
Just everything, man. I'm just trying to show people some soul in a different way. If I can inspire at least one person to get up and do some stuff, man, then it's all worth it.
I love that. And then for this next one, go and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Look up Ross Boss on Facebook. Man, I'm there, too. Always got all my music posters up right there. Also, too, Ross Boss on YouTube. Little Walk Alone, Raspy, any of those. And I'll pop right on up. And I would love to have you guys in.
Oh, yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Oh man, Endo for sure. I know I probably already said his name a few times, but if you have not seen Endo stuff, if you haven't been there, I mean, for the love of God, go check that out.
Yeah.
He's about to be blessed with some good stuff. Same thing, Santavo, Little Mike, he's got some amazing stuff out there. Dead Tech, do all of them. Even James Berserker, man, check that guy out if you want to get into the dubstep mode. But all those guys, mad love, mad respect, each one of them.
All right, now we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
You got it.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? It's a deep cut, so not a lot of people would know it, but it's one you think everybody should know.
Oh, man. I'm trying to remember his name right now. What is his name? I used to listen to him all the time. Now I can't think of it. What is his name? Immortal Technique.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, if you want to see some obscure stuff, man, I mean, it's pretty twisted in some ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, Immortal Technique, definitely an obscure one, I think, man. His whole album, the one that had the one where he's like, oh, God,
I know exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Yeah.
For some reason, I keep
complaining flying into your house.
Yeah, man, I can't. For some reason, I keep on saying Blue Devil, but that doesn't feel right.
I know. I know what song. That's the song, but I don't remember the name of it. But that one is insane. I mean, don't have your kids in the room and listen to it. But
no, you should. Yeah, definitely don't let your kids listen to it.
Yeah,
but y'all definitely should. No, I mean, and it's funny. His name has come up weirdly like 4 or 5 times in the last like 7 days. Not on the show, like just through conversation. I was just talking about him yesterday to somebody else.
Yeah, who's savage.
Yeah, I feel like the universe is trying to conspire that he's got something going soon. So I'm curious to see what that.
And Mad Child too, man. That guy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, his whole albums are crazy too, man. That's the one.
Those are 2 super solid racks.
Dude, yeah.
But all right, we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Ross.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.